Now it's time for Pound ATL.
Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, baby, and it is game week. I'm your boy, Jimbo Dean, aka Jimbo Slice, aka Jimmy Obama. And you can call me any one of those you want, but please do not call me no damn New Orleans Saints fan. It is about to go down. Can you believe this, baby? It's game week, baby. Big Mike, what is going on over there in the ATL? What's happening, Ground Zero? What's up, baby?
Hey
What's going
man,
on, man?
hey, it's game week, man. It seems like it has been the longest, I don't know, 10 months ever. 20, 2020 has been, I don't even know what to call 2020. I don't even want to give it a name or whatever. All I know is this weekend, Dirty Birds are getting ready to go back, lace it up, strap it up in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we have football again. And I'll be honest with you, watching the Kansas City Chiefs, watching the Houston Texans, it just made me feel good. Watching Mahomes throw touchdowns, throw darts, it just makes me feel like the world is a little bit normal right now. So I just want to keep it normal. And like I said, man, just keep this party rolling. But like I said, P4P family, I do want to stop before we go into the show and let y'all know that like I said, man, we want y'all to keep rocking with us, keep showing love. And again, man, show love to these guys. Show love to these four horsemen. Listen, show love to that Toby D, JR, Big Jimbo, and myself, because we're going to give you what you want. And we're going to give it to you the genius part way, because we love our Dirty Birds. We love to talk offense, love to talk defense, love to talk special teams. Hey, we'll talk about anything if you give us enough time. So, like I said, we appreciate y'all rocking with us, and we got to pause for the cause, let y'all know it's all love. But again, we here to talk about these birds this week. So, Big Jimbo, we got a lot to talk about. What you want to talk about?
I want to slide off of that. What you was just doing. Look at Pound ATL, man. Y'all have been showing out. The family, y'all, all the followers, all our fans out there. Y'all have been showing up and showing out. And us over here at Pound ATL, we can't say how much we appreciate that, because we genuinely love this stuff. And I know y'all see it jumping off the screen. So y'all keep coming back for more. Y'all keep getting better. Y'all keep being strong. Just keep it up, big dog. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said with that live screen, and thank you for all the love y'all showed on that. That was outstanding, man. And we had the energy going, man. Toby D, hey man, shout out to Toby D, man, and shout out to JR, the best, the hardest working man in show business. But man, we really appreciate y'all. Don't think just because we sit here dropping this content that we don't appreciate what y'all doing and we don't notice what y'all doing. Because please believe we do, and we on our way to the top. We on our way to become the best Atlanta Falcons content creators out there. It just ain't no question about it. So hey, Mike, let's get into it, man, because we talking about do's and don'ts. I mean, right before game time. Now, this is pivotal because you have to be laser focused before you play somebody. Preparation win games. There's no question about that. Sunday is when the game played. You probably don't heard Jimbo Slice say that before, because I really mean it, because it do really mean something. Sunday is when the game played, but preparation is where the game is won. So holla at your boy. Hey, shout out to Coach Will Herringer out there. My guy. Okay, Herringer. Y'all remember when me and Mike did that coaching show, and I told y'all about Will Herringer? I told y'all. I told Toby D, man, we're going to have to start making a show, man. We're going to make a show. We're going to tag it, I told you so. But anyways, that's another story. Now let's get into these do's and don'ts, the topics of the topic of this weekend, which do's and don'ts is pretty much what the Falcons got to do to win the game, and what the Falcons don't need to do to win the game. Big Mike, you ready for that this week? Because we finna give Pound ATL family a little bit of do's and don'ts out there. You ready for that, big dog?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we got, like I said, I think we can start off with the dudes this week, Big Jimbo. Like I said, I think
I like that.
Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things we don't need to do against the Seattle Seahawks, because they are a very dangerous team. But we'll touch on the don'ts for it in a second. But let's talk about the dudes for a second, right? One thing we do need to do, and I mean do need to do, is set the tone early. I think if we look back last year when we played the Minnesota Vikings, we got the wind knocked out of us by the second quarter. And I think it took us almost 6 or 7 games to even find our identity after that game. I think what we cannot do is have a team set the tone against us so early that by 2:15 Eastern Standard Time, we're doing something else. We're out walking the dog, or we're back on the grill throwing more meat on the grill because the game is out of reach. Cannot happen again. So we must set the tone. And you might ask yourself, who do we set the tone with? So, like I said, we know we need to set the tone, but who do we need to set the tone with? I think none other than Todd Gurley. I think we've been very humble in our conversation about Todd Gurley this year because, he's a proven back. And again, with his knee concerns, every time we talk about what he can do and will he be healthy, or, is his career out of reach? Is he Steven Jackson 2.0? I think all of those type of things, it really stemmed from this place. It's like, Todd Gurley declined and maybe had 13 or 14 touchdowns, which for us, we would have taken every one of those touchdowns. And let's not forget, Todd Gurley is also a great receiving running back as well. Not just a bruiser, but a good receiving running back as well. So I think with Todd Gurley's familiarity against the Seahawks defense, it's important to feed Todd Gurley early. And I would like to see him early get some of those 10-yard runs, 12-yard runs, just chug it out and set the tone, because I think the earlier we can get Todd Gurley to set the tone, it helps us to have another, like a Brian Hill come in there, steal some of those carries and keep the momentum rolling. And I think what I like about our team right now going into this game is that we've got a healthy Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley has been nothing but consistent. Hey, and Jimbo, I watched the interview from Julio Jones the other day, and listening to him talk about Todd Gurley got me excited.
Oh, yes, it did.
And I add one more thing to that, because it's like when you have Julio Jones glowing about a running back, that kind of gets me excited from the standpoint that I've never seen it before. Because I'll be honest with you, Julio Jones does at least maybe 7 or 8 interviews, maybe during the course of the season. And when I listened to him talk about Devontae Freeman, I never really saw him glow and just say, man, he's amazing. I think he was a good running back. But I think having an amazing running back, a difference maker at the running back, will help us more so now. Like I said, later in the season, it may be a detriment, and we can talk about knee concerns and all that kind of stuff. But game number 1, healthy, no preseason, not a lot of extra wear and tear. We have got to see Todd Gurley set the tone, and like I said, do what he needs to do. So let me ask you this though, while we're talking about the dudes, what is one of your fundamental dudes? What is it that you see, even outside of Todd Gurley? What is it that you see that we have to do for this game?
And I'm glad you used that word fundamental, because that's where it's all going to go down back to. Tackle. We all know Atlanta Falcons, the first 3 games, the total missed tackles and everybody reaching for a player instead of wrapping up, form tackling like they supposed to, has really been one of those nagging things that just been lingering around. And then they figure out how to tackle around game 4 or 5. Now, I ain't being negative, but then like this. This is a do. Positive, right? Tackle. What I seen last night in that Kansas City game and that Texans game, they was actually tackling, but they was missing tackles, which is something that happens. It's going to happen with in the beginning of the part like that. But to miss too many tackles is where you start to get hurt at. Now, what I only think I want the Falcons to do, and this a big do, pound ATL. Don't miss tackles. Form tackle, wrap up, bring the guy to the ground. Now, don't get no horse collar like Buddy did last night. You want to wrap up, you want to form tackle, and you want to just make sure the guy gets to the ground without getting the penalty. Now, what kind of threw me for a fold last night, it wasn't that many with that Kansas City and that Texas game. It really wasn't that many flags like I thought it would be. That kind of shocked me a little bit. So maybe they're going in saying, okay, these guys are coming out of a pandemic or whatever. We have no preseason game. Let's let them play. And I hope that's what they're going to do all of Sunday. I hope it be less flags and more play. And that with that going on, Atlanta Falcons against the Seattle Seahawks this Sunday, you got to tackle, please. I am begging you. I am asking you, fundamentally wise, from your mind point, what are you going to do? For me, it's tackle. Please make tackles. Please lock up. Please put your crown of your helmet in his shoulder pad. Keep your head up, wrap up, and put your weight on him and take it to the ground. We cannot miss tackles in this game, because if we do, that probably going to keep them in the game if we miss tackle. And I know with Keanu Neal being back, ain't too many tackles going to be missed that pound. Yeah, it's going to be, okay, Keanu Neal ain't got to wrap up. He can just come at you like a full-blown missile and bust you wide open. He ain't got to wrap up. I love it. enforcer is back, baby. Mr. Boom. Tackling, missing tackles, probably ain't gonna happen that much this week. But if anything the Falcons need to do, they need to tackle this week, Big Mike. And I'm finna okay. I wanna jump on that with that Todd Gurley thing. I just want to mention something really fast, and I'm gonna hand it back over to you real quick, Mike. I don't know about you, but I'm finally starting to really realize that Todd Gurley is on my team. Oh, wait a minute, man. No, I'm gonna jump up out of the seat here in a second. Pound ATL, stop what you're doing right now. I want y'all to stop what y'all doing right now, and I just want y'all to think and listen to yourself. Todd Gurley is on the Atlanta Falcons, and he will be suiting up, and he will be playing this Sunday. No questions about it. None of that. Todd Gurley's on this team. Get live just for that. Get Crunk, like Lil John, you say Crunk, huh, Mike? What that was, Crunk?
Get Crunk, baby. Get Crunk, baby. Crunk. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna bring that word back. We're gonna start using Crunk.
Sir. Yes,
Todd
sir.
Gurley is on this team, y'all. Get Crunk. We talking about 12, 15 touchdowns. And that was, how many he had last year? 12, Mike?
Maybe 12. Yeah, I think 12.
And that was a down
year?
You got to be kidding me. That is a do for the Atlanta Falcons going to this Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. That is a do. I want you to strap him up and let him go. This is Todd Gurley we talking about. This ain't no Rudy Poo jabroni. Oh, look at that, jabroni. I like that word, jabroni. This ain't no Rudy Poo jabroni running back. This is Todd Gurley, man. Y'all got to be. I'm finna be really hyped and hard on this one. I'm finna be crunk. Because we need to realize if this don't help y'all realize that we got Todd Gurley on our team going into this game Sunday, I don't know what to tell you. You better get your popcorn ready for a Todd Gurley. It's a do, Big Mike. Yeah. That's a good one.
So I think in another
Crunk over here.
And we need to get Crunk on Todd Gurley. And I like the word Crunk because I'm gonna tell you something. I think if there's a hole in the Seattle Seahawks anywhere, it's the defense, and that's the defensive line. And I mean, it's weird to say, hey, Seattle defense got a hole because you're thinking about the old Legion of Boom. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They got two monsters in the middle. KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner are going to have the rest of the defense playing with their head on fire. So I'm not going to sit here and act like that Seattle would not be ready for this game, which we know they will, right? But I think the defensive line is a bit of a weak spot for the Seattle, the Seattle Seahawks, right? And I just think their run defense, and as a matter of fact, even their pass rush last year, they had just about as many sacks last year. Go back and look it up. They were probably 27th or 28th in the league last year in the pass rush. So it leads me to my next dude. We must throw the ball. We must get the ball to Calvin Ridley early. We will get the ball to Julio in some capacity. I don't care if they have four defenders trying to guard Julio Jones.
Hold on now, Mike. Hold on. I ain't mean to cut y'all, but we threw the ball 52 times last year against them. You're not worried about last year. That's over with, ain't it?
No, I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about last year from the standpoint that scheme-wise we're a little bit different team. So we had a different body type at tight end, right? Different body type at running back, right? So I think the two body types we have at running back and tight end play into our advantage in this game because I think the athleticism of a Hayden Hurst may give us a little bit more of a vertical threat with our offense. Now, let me ask you something now.
Yeah, okay.
Let me ask you a question now. Let me ask you a question. With the same offense we had last year, right? You look at even if we had a Devontae Freeman, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, maybe a Russell Gage, like I said, Russell Gage, all of that kind of stuff. Let me ask you something. What would a Hayden Hurst given us last year that an Austin Hooper would not have? And I'm not saying Hayden Hurst is a better tight end than Austin Hooper, but let me ask you something. With Hayden Hurst and what his skills are, what would he have given us last year that we will have this year that will make our defense our offense even more powerful and even more, I just think, like I said, top 5, top 10 worthy, top five worthy, this year. And I mean, I'll let you touch on it, because I can talk on it, but I'll let you touch on it.
I'm locking in that Pound ATL. If you can tell, you can see my face. I'm locking in. All right. And Julio Jones came out and said it himself. If y'all ain't watched that interview this week, go please watch it. He said Hayden Hurst got great hands, and Hayden Hurst give us a chance to blow the top off our defense. So I'm finna go here and I'm finna ask you your question, Mike. I'm finna say speed. And that's what I would have said. If they wouldn't interviewing Julio Jones, they were interviewing me, they would have got the word speed out of my mouth. Almost the same thing. The similarity would have been the same thing as what Julio Jones, who practiced with him every day, who's on the field with him every day, who sees him every day, who about to go through a full season with him as a rat now, as his teammate said, he brings speed, which is a different element at that position this year. He can blow a top off of defense, Mike. Ooh, when the last time we had a tight end, pound ATL, ask yourself, when the last time we had a tight end that can run like a 4.5 and can blow a top off of defense? Been a while there now. Tony Gonzalez was great. Austin Hooper was great. Don't get me wrong. Like Mike said, we not comparing them and we not saying somebody's better than the other one. But this guy brings speed to the Atlanta Falcons defense.
Absolutely.
I meant to say offense. I'm sorry. I meant to say offense.
Yeah. We man, we crump. Hey, to your point.
Oh, yeah, you about to get me fired up here, Mike. Go ahead now.
But think about it. Like I said, we go back to the body types and we talk about the dudes. And like I said, we talk about, a Todd Gurley, having a Todd Gurley and having a Hayden Hurst is the difference in this offense. We're an offense that really didn't need a lot of differences. I mean, as much as people want to hate on Matt Ryan, he still leads us perennially to top tier offenses every year. So the level of weapons that we've given Matty Ice this year will continue to make us, the formidable threat. Like I said, the biggest thing for us is on the defense. Now, at the end of the day, I mentioned that word defense, and let's talk about it. Let's go over to these don'ts. Because, listen, we know what we do need to do. We know what Matt Ryan does need to do. We know what Todd Gurley does need to do. Let's talk about what we don't need to do against the Seattle Seahawks. And you know what? And I'm going to let you start it off because, I want to talk about the secondary, but I'm not qualified to talk about the secondary, about what we don't need to do for the secondary. So, Jimbo, will you please eloquently talk to us about what we don't need to do in the secondary to be effective against these Seattle Seahawks?
Well, first thing first, we do need to communicate. And if we don't communicate, it's going to be problems. Now, I asked you about the pass because a lot of people are trying to use the pass game or when we played them last year to try to compare the two. But Big Mike Dub said, don't worry about last year. That's over with. This is 2020 we talking about here. Okay? And Metcalf number was wide open. I think that was a lack of communication. Now, we didn't disguise too many coverages as well. So they kind of knew what they had, what we was in and what we was going to attack us with. But I think the communication factor was lackluster, Big Mike. I think we just wasn't communicating. People were just wide open and all willy-nilly. Lockett goes 6 for 100. I mean, come on now. But now that I know Joe Wick Jr. is there, and we don't use Joe Wick Jr. name so many times, it's starting to get ridiculous. It's starting to be sickening around here, over here in the great Atlanta, Georgia, the Atlanta Falcons organization. Over here, pound ATL, we use Joe Wick Jr. name like it's going out of style. But look here, this guy's finna be different. This is finna be different. I don't know if y'all heard Dan Quinn interview, but Dan Quinn came out and said it. This guy has made this defense just look a little more different in a better way, towards a positive way. So one of the don'ts, if you don't communicate their Atlanta Falcons, and I think that is any secondary from the high school level all the way up to the pros, Mike. If you don't communicate, boy, you're probably here going to be in trouble, okay? So one of my don'ts is don't have the lack of communication. If you do that, it's going to be a long game. Some people are going to be wide open. And when people wide open, I like to take my billboard or my beer can, whatever I'm drinking on that day, and I might slam it to the ground. As of 2019, what I kind of did there. So when it comes to that secondary, Mike, and I understand AJ Terrell. Look here, AJ Terrell. Don't get me wrong. Then I want you to touch on this a little bit too, Mike, after I come off of this. Don't get me wrong. That is a rookie cornerback, that pound ATL. He is a rookie. And I don't know if y'all watching that KC and that Texas game last night, but they rookie that they had who ended up having an interception. Bing. Okay. Message. They're going to attack that rookie corner more than, I can't say it enough now, AJ. They are going to come at you until you show them. Kind of like what that rookie corner for Kansas City did last night. You got to show them that you are not going to get beat and they cannot abuse you. They're going to come at you until then. And that's pretty much what happened in that KC game. They kept going at that rookie. I mean, it was a tip ball interception, but he did hold his own until then. And that's all we need AJ Terrell to do to Sunday. is hold his own because they're gonna keep, which may make Isaiah Oliver look a little bit more better because less targets are gonna be going this way. And I ain't saying that he ain't got better this offseason, but you know what I'm saying. Go ahead, Mike. Let me get your points on that. I mean, because I could talk all day about the secondary big dog.
I think you know what, you just brought up a good point on Isaiah Oliver. If Isaiah Oliver gets targeted less in this game, that's better for us. That's better for us as a Falcons defense.
Yeah, they got to go somewhere though.
I really and don't get it twisted. Now we're sitting here talking about AJ Terrell. Don't think they won't go at Isaiah Oliver like a rookie too. Don't think that we have not seen tape of Isaiah Oliver that is reflective of like, nah, you know what? Yeah, we listen. We listen to shout out to Von McClure. Shout out to D. Orlando Ledbetter. They read those stories too in Seattle. And I'm going to tell you something. They see that AJ Terrell has had a good camp, but they might say, well, yeah, you know what? Okay, we may come at you, Isaiah Oliver. So, Isaiah Oliver, don't think that they won't come at you either. So, let's keep that in there. But no, let's go back to the other. Let me go back to the other don'ts real quick because I think, like I said, the don'ts in the secondary, we need to focus on that for a little bit, right? Because AJ Terrell, if somebody catches a pass on you, don't worry about it. Keep the same mentality that you had of what everybody else has said. Because I'm gonna tell you something. One thing that I like of what that Julio said about AJ Terrell in his interview this week with Falcons.com, AtlantaFalcons.com, is he said that AJ Terrell, no matter whether he gets the interception or he gets beat or he breaks up a pass, he comes back the next play ready to work.
Yes, sir. That's it, Mike.
Keep that same mindset, and you will continue to go places. If Julio Jones said that you can be a great player in this league, then you can be a great player in this league. So I think Falcons Nation, this is a second. Stop. You know what I mean? Close your eyes and breathe. Because at the end of the day, I think this rookie is going to be much better than a lot of people have criticized him to be.
People don't like that though, Mike. People don't like that though. But go ahead.
But I think when you set the tone early, you know, you shut everybody up. Because I'm going to tell you something. AJ Terrell didn't have to do anything but be himself and continue to do what he does, because what the media will hype him up. All he had to do is continue to go to work. Just keep that same mindset early. So I think AJ Terrell and his mindset and his swagger, his technique, I think, like you said, if he picked off Russell Wilson his first game, yeah, that'd be like something out of a dream. Now, that's a tough quarterback to play the first game, but it's possible though. So if the pass rush does its job, which I think we can, like I said, we could go do's and don'ts on this all day, but I think with AJ Terrell, don't feed into the hype. Don't worry about getting beat. Continue to come back, continue to battle, and just don't give up. Now, like I said, secondary, to your point, we can touch on that all day. Now, let me ask you this. We got to revamp defensive line. We spent a lot of time this year talking about our defensive line. We spent a lot of time talking about, the additions of Dante Fowler, Marlon Davidson, blah, blah, blah. And again, Marlon Davidson is questionable. So I think, again, with the premise of this, we'll see a lot of Allen Bailey. We'll see a lot of Kaminsky. We'll see a lot of Jacob TM because Charles Harris is also out as well. So Jacob Tuioti Mariner, we're going to see a lot of you as well. Now, another guy that I think may possibly make a splash play or so that we haven't seen a lot of is Steven Means. They have seen something out of this guy in training camp, coming off an ACL, to keep giving this guy a shot to come in, just to come in and hopefully make some plays. But he will possibly play a bigger role than he may realize with Charles Harris being out this game, because the Tech gets hurt. Like I said, he's the first guy off the bench. Now, let me ask you something. What is it that you don't want to see the defensive line do in this game that, could possibly cause us to, like I said, end up on the losing side of the equation, if possible, because the defense is where it's important. Offense, I think we know about Matt Ryan. We know about Todd Gurley. We know what we have to do. What is it that we don't need to do on that defensive line, man? Because I'm a little concerned there, and I'll tell you why after you give me what you think.
And this is going to be a curveball, that pound ATL. Look at me, listen to me clear now. I clearly don't want the defensive line to rotate that too much. Don't rotate them too much. And I said this too. I said, and Toby D, y'all know it. I said, don't treat this game like it's a preseason game because we ain't got time for that. I said that, Dan Quinn.
Right.
And I still stand by that. If you rotate that defensive line just a little bit too much, somebody ain't going to be able to get in their groove. Somebody ain't going to be able to get into the groove of the game, a rhythm, I like to call it. And if you can't get in the rhythm in the game and starting to fill out the offensive lineman that you're going against, it's going to be hard, Mike.
Right.
So my do's and my don't for this offensive line, and it fall back onto the coaches. Do not rotate them so much that one player can't get into his groove or his rhythm and start to fill out the offensive line that he's going against. Because you got pass moves that you can use, right? You got to set them pass moves up. You got to set him up. And if you get rotated out of the game left and right, how you going to set him up for a move that's going to be used in a crucial moment when you coming in out of the game? Now I understand the depth because we need depth. Now but I just don't want somebody on that defensive line to be. We know Grady Jarrett's not going to be rotated that much. Thank God, we know that. John Kaminsky probably is, but if John Kaminsky is a dog coming out of camp in his second year with the Atlanta Falcons, like we think he's going to be, I think he's going to be a potential Derek Wolfe type of defensive tackle, defensive end, in and out type of guy, and you rotating him every other play, how Kaminsky is going to get into his groove and figure out this lineman and finally put that final move on him to get that last sack to stop them on 3rd and 5? How? So my only fear with that defensive line, because it's good, God knows now, pound for pound, ATL, Atlanta Falcons fans out there, that defensive line is good. Don't get me wrong. You got 2 Pro Bowlers on that thing already as we speak. And Charles Harris is out. So, okay, I understand that. Charles Harris will be back. He's a depth player. But do not rotate them guys so much that they don't get into no rhythm and they can't feel like the person they going against to the point where they don't even get the chance to set nobody up to use no move or nothing like, nothing like that. I want to see a guy to be steady. I want a steady guy at a position. I want somebody to get the feel for the guy, because you know this, Mike. You play defense. You got to get a feel for the guy that you're going against, for you can later exploit whatever you've been feeling for, right? So extra rotations and rotation extra heavy like it's a preseason game could come back and hurt us. So don't rotate heavily like that, Dan Quinn. You already came out and said it. Before you came out and said it, I said it. Toby D, JR, y'all know. I said it. Do not treat this game like a preseason game. You're going to end up finding yourself in a position where you're playing catch up. Then we got to throw the ball 52 times again and da-da-da. So
That's
please,
right.
do not rotate these defensive linemen that much. That's all I'm asking. Go ahead, Big Mike.
I think you hit it on the head. And I'm going to touch on 2 quick things on the defensive line, and then we'll go over to the offensive line, because there's one more don't that we got to touch on the offensive line that they don't.
Right on.
But
right.
we'll touch on it with the don'ts. But I think for the defensive line, we got to have that same mindset that we talked about with Todd Gurley. But it's kind of from a don't perspective, right? And don't allow Seattle's running backs to pound the ball on us, because they will slow the game down. Seattle has 2 really good running backs and a rookie that I think we got to keep an eye on, who may possibly make a couple plays. Chris Carson and who's the other back? Oh yeah, Chris Carson, Carlos Hyde, and DJ Dallas. Now DJ Dallas was a guy, I watched him a lot at Miami. If you know a UGA guy, you probably know the name. He was one of Mark Richt guys, and once Mark Richt went to Miami, he followed Mark Richt. He's from old Brunswick, Georgia, which again, like I said, shout out to Brunswick, Georgia. Yes, anyway, so they got good running backs. I think, if we really want to be if we want to be, bullish a little bit on the running back position, I would say that they have a better running back room collectively than us, just because, with Hyde and Carson are a little bit more established just collectively. Gurley's a beast. Brian Hill, like I said, we're really looking for him to put together just a full season and continue to get better. We've heard a lot of growth out of Brian Hill. I want to see that continue to grow. But again, defensive line cannot let Seattle's big backs slow the game down, because if they slow the game down, we're going to have a tough time. And like I said, it goes back to something you touched on earlier, which is we have got to wrap up. We have got to set the tone at the defensive line. Because if you set the tone on the defensive line, you free it up for Debo to be Debo. And like I said, we are at our best again when Debo is on the field, when Keanu Neal is on the field, KZ, Allen, Denard, all those guys are on the field. We are at our best. Luckily, they are all healthy. They're all a go. And again, defensive line, you have got to set the tone. Allen Bailey, step up, man. We ain't talked about you a lot for a reason, because this is a game where Allen Bailey has to set the tone against the run. He's been in the league for a long time. He's played a lot of good AFC defenses back from his days with the Chiefs. Kind of had a little off year last year. I hope his offseason is good enough to make a couple plays. And I think he's a guy that could make some plays for us early that a lot of people don't think of. Like, hey, Falcons nerds. Think back a couple years ago how Brooks Reed started a couple years ago where he was getting 2-3 sacks a game, closing people out. We completely did not expect it. It's not a content creator out there who put out that information to say, oh, this will be a breakout year for Brooks Reed. Now, at the end of the day, I think Allen Bailey is a guy that we got to have to set the tone early. Now, we'll touch on this offensive line. I know we get ready to go to our closing thoughts and all that stuff in a little while, but offensive line, it's a couple don'ts for you guys as well, too, and especially starting with the guy that I'm most comfortable with. Well, no, let me not say the most comfortable with. He's the rookie that I'm most comfortable with out of this draft class, and that's Matt Hennessy. And I think Matt Hennessy, James Carpenter, that might be. I don't necessarily like the left guard battling position. Left guards battling it out in this position. But these are guys that it's one guy that I know has a bright NFL future, and it's another guy that has had success in the NFL. And James Carpenter, Matt Hennessy, whoever is out there. Do not allow the defensive line of Seattle to, again, like I said, it's in the trenches, man. It's the same thing. We can talk about the do's and the don'ts. It's the same thing. Do not allow these dudes to set the tone. It goes back to this, and I think all of our don'ts go up to this, which are we got to set the tone. And I think we got the pieces to set the tone. But like I said, before we kind of segue onto whatever else we need to talk about, offensive line, man. Is there any? Well, it's almost like we got to go back to the dude. But don't even do it, don't. Like I said, we can easily say, don't do this. We know what the offensive line is. It's a lot of don't that they haven't. They have not blocked for Matt Ryan. They have not kept Matt Ryan upright. They have not made him look like a $22, $23 million a year quarterback in the way they protected him. They've shown a lack of protection for Matt Ryan. Now, let me ask you this. What must the offensive line do? Let's go there.
Yeah.
Against the Seahawks to go ahead and close this thing on out, man. You know what I mean? Just to, like I said, make us comfortable.
First things first, big dog. You in your bag tonight. I see that. You trying to give me that thing. You trying to give it to me, and I like it. I like the energy, big dog. Keep it up now. You in your bag tonight, bro. I don't know if you had a little day off. JR don't gave you a day off. You in your bag. Anyway, offensive line. And it's a do. You know why? Because Tar Gurley is in the backfield. Offensive line. We finna run that ball. Be aggressive as you can and be nasty. Go dumb. Be stupid. I want some dog, nasty, just don't care offensive lineman. And this is my due, right? Caleb McGarry, please instill that dog, nasty, I'm protecting Matt Ryan type of attitude into these guys. Because you are protecting, and I'm finna say something, and I don't care who get mad. You are protecting one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFC South history. Shout out to Matt Ryan, a.k.a. the Godfather. Yes, I ain't saying the NFL. I said one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFC South history. Do your homework on that, and you tell me if Matt Ryan is not one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFC South history. Boy, I'm up there. And if anybody want to bet me, you holler at me. But what I want to do, is for the offensive line to just be nasty dogs. I want them to finish plays. You see Assembly last night? You see that? That's how you come out of a first game, Mike. Yeah,
Right.
You got him held up. Take him to the ground and put your weight on him. That's what I want to see. You got Tar Gurley running the ball. When we run the ball, you stand him up by a shoulder pads. You get up under that shoulder pad. You drive him into the ground, and you lay on top of him. Assembly, thank you for showing people what a real pancake look like. And guess what? Atlanta Falcon fans, pound for pound ATL, we got Lindstrom that can do that. That's going to do that. Hennessy is going to do that. McGarry came out of college doing that. McGarry know how to do it. He's going to do it. They see what Assembly did last night. Don't think them offensive linemen are not feeding off each other. They like to eat, a.k.a. hogs. Let's literally talk about them. Eating pancakes. They like to do. Dudes for the offensive line to just be a nasty dog like Assembly was last night. Assembly was tired and fed up. He was fed up. Somebody was finna get some butter put on top of that pancake, and that's what Assembly did last night. And that's the dudes I want for that Atlanta Falcons offensive line. Is to pick somebody up, stand them up, drive them into the ground, and just lay on top of them and be a nasty dog. And everybody done forgot. Assembly, you know what Assembly said last night for the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm on this team too. What we talking about here? I'm blocking for a rookie. I'm on this team. Smash. That's what I want the offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons to do. That's the do I want from the Atlanta Falcons. It's a smash ground.
I love it. I love it.
Broke the mic there, Mike.
I love it, bro. Hey, preach, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I want to throw a curveball to you too. When you get these closing thoughts, man, let's give these people a prediction at the end of this, man. Let's go ahead and just give a. I mean, and at the end of the day, if we fall short of the mark, you know what? Who cares? At the end of the day, it's a prediction. Like I said, we've been hitting it on the head, and like I said, Big Jimbo, like I said, man,
what we predicted, Big Mike? What we
man? Okay. So first, like I said, I'm gonna do it a little different. We're gonna do it a little different. We just jump in our closing thoughts and we get it to you and you go out. But I think I'm gonna go with a prediction first, then I'm gonna get a closing thoughts. And I think this game, I think it'll be a close game. But I think with having it at home, and like I said, it don't matter about the fans, just the comfort of the home. They don't have a lot of tape on us. They don't have a lot of preseason tape on us. So I just like Dirk Cutter when he's most unpredictable. And I think it's not going to be much to separate us, to be honest with you. But I think first game, because like I said, they beat us 27-20. And I think that team in the second half of the Seahawks game was a team that showed that they can play with these guys. Now, if we have that same team that showed up in the second half to show up in the first half, I think, honestly, if I had to go right now, I'll go 28-24. Atlanta Falcons on top, bro. I got to go 28-24 from the standpoint that I think the defense will play better than expected. I think AJ Terrell will continue to progress because, like I said, I think you brought up a really good point last night about the corner from the other night, the undrafted free agent cornerback.
Oh man,
played in the big game and played bigger than expected because they're gonna try those cornerbacks. If AJ Terrell can trust his training, trust his technique, I really feel like Russell Wilson will have to look at other. Russell Wilson is coming into this game kind of like, I'm gonna throw here. He's kind of got it in his mind where he wants to go with the ball. Absolutely. So we have to stay in chess mode and not respond to the checker moves that the Seahawks are gonna throw out to us. And I think we got a chance to win this game. Now, my closing thoughts are this. Like I said, we touched on Todd Gurley. We touched on the defensive line, offensive line. But I think I'll touch a little bit more on something that we don't really talk about a lot, but we need these guys to be on point out of the gate because they're going to play, if not the most important role in this game, and that's special team. I'm going to go Younghoe Koo up front. We cannot have missed field goals because I'm going to tell you something. If you miss field goals for us early, I really think you're on a really short leash, right? So if you don't make those field goals, and I mean those field goals without any crowd noise, because you notice the special teams guys started out a little slow. You watch that Kansas City and Houston game, special teams started out a little bit slower than we expected, right? Sterling Hofrichter, like I said, we talked about you earlier, one of the best punters in the NCAA last year. I think, there was some practices where he might have had some punts that didn't meet the net average or whatever all that kind of stuff is, but it don't matter about net average on Sunday. It means, like I said, control the field position because that will allow us to continue to set the tone for Sunday. And for us, it is all about setting the tone. And like I said, it starts with Todd Gurley, it starts with Matt Ryan, and it ends with our special teams. Special teams setting the tone, offense and defense setting the tone. We will walk the Seahawks back to Seattle personally. And like I said, that's my closing thoughts this week.
Great closing thoughts, that Big Mike. And the score. I watched the Atlanta Braves games, and somebody said, who y'all think Atlanta Braves dropped a 29. They dropped 29 runs. They dropped a bomb on them. And somebody said, hey, Jimbo, hey, Pound ATL, my Twitter followers, y'all keep hitting me up directly. I ain't got no problem with it. I am going to answer your question. So they hit me up. They say, the Braves scored 29 points. You think the Falcons going to score more or the Braves going to score more? Good one for me. The Falcons probably is going to score 30 points this weekend. This Sunday, I'm going 30-24. I'm gonna keep them at 24 points, but the Falcons probably gonna score 30 points this week. The reason why we got Todd Gurley. I started the show off Crunk. I started the show off saying we got Todd Gurley. It just ain't the man is just finna give us 10 to 12 more points a game. No knock on Devontae Freeman. So I'm going 30-24. Atlanta Falcons in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. First game of the year. It is in all black, new uniforms. Arthur Blank is tied. Dan Quinn is tied. Rich McKay is tied. Thomas Dimitroff is tied. 30-24 Seahawks. Yes, they will score one more point than the Atlanta Braves did the other night against the sorry ass Marlins. So that is it. Get into my closing thoughts. And I'm glad you talked about special teams, Mike, because Pound Pound ATL family and out there, y'all don't know, me and Mike do not rehearse this show. We don't do no rehearsal, okay? We ride it on out off our feelings and our emotions, and that's the way it's supposed to go because that's your team you talking about, and you supposed to know. You don't supposed to Google it and then come into the game. Okay, every now and then we got to get some stats just to help you lead on to what you need the foes. Anyway, shout out to JR, the hard working man in show business. Anyway, but we freestyle this stuff. So, Mike, for you to talk about special teams in your closing thoughts, that's the same thing I was gonna do. Appreciate it, big dog. You segueing that thing over to me like it was a frisbee. Anyway, but if y'all ain't, I'm the type of guy I like to find out what's going on with the enemy. What's going on with the enemy? Somebody we're about to play. That's the enemy. Every week we got a different enemy, right? If y'all ain't noticed, but they special team coordinator, who's been the special team coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks for 11 years, is not around. He have left the team. Now, whatever he's going through, that's his business, that's his personal thing. But I send my prayers out to him or whatever. But he's not there. Now, let's exploit that vulnerability, right? Let's do it to him. He's not there. We got B and K. B and K ready to go, right? That what's his, how you pronounce his last name now, Mike?
I think it's Kawika. Ben Kawika.
I'm gonna call him B and K. Okay, BK. Let's exploit them not having they main coach. They special team coordinator is not there. That's the part of the game that is very, very important besides offense and defense. It's three phases of the game. You got to play good at all three phases of a football game to win it. And you should know that if you play ball. Three phases of the game. Now, with them not having they special team coordinator there, I don't know his name, but he been there for 11 years, which is a very long time out there, pound ATL. He's not there. Let's exploit what their weaknesses are, and one of them is special teams not having a coach. Pete Carroll is going to have to find a way to pay attention more to special teams than he ever had, as he had 11 years. So, Big K, convince Dan Quinn we need to explore this special teams for the Seattle Seahawks because they main head state, they main guy for 11 years is not there. He's gone. And prayers out to wherever he's got going on. I'm not down to that. I'm not being negative about that. But at the same time, we got a football game to play Sunday. And we doing everything we got to do to win. And they main special team coach is not there. B&K, saddle that horse up, jump on top of it, and ride it like it's the Kentucky Derby. And that's my closing thoughts, big dog. Great show again. Hey, great show again, Mike. We were gonna try to stay close to what time was, but we went over again. It's all good.
It's all good. But look, it's game week. Listen, man. It's game week. Last thing I say, just real quick.
Yep.
We don't talk about him a lot, but be on the lookout for Brandon Powell. Most people don't realize he's actually had one NFL game where he had 6 receptions for 100 yards. If we use him in different ways, you heard it here first. And again, matter of fact, if they use him and he gets a couple passes, we're going to create a special show. You heard it here first. We're going to throw it out this week. But anyway, man, like I said, it ain't about us. It ain't about what we talk about. It's about our love for this team. Hey, shout out to y'all. Right. Y'all deserve this. We deserve this. This weekend is deserved by everybody that didn't, like I said, that stuck with us, that stuck with their team, and that want to see some football. And like I said, that checks all our boxes. So on that note, man, like I said, man, we ain't going to hold y'all up. Like I said, when y'all want good sports content.
Good stuff, man.
JR, Toby D, Mike Dub, Big Jumbo, four horsemen. And we out, bro.
Holla at me, baby. Hey, catch me and Mike on here every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, pound for pound, ATL, on the building, rising to the top. We ain't going to say nothing about those Twitter's account no more. Y'all can see the Twitters. Y'all, wherever they at, y'all see them. Follow us on Twitter at our Twitter, big dog. We there. So until next week, we going to catch y'all. Y'all get ready for that live on Tuesday after the game Sunday. Toby D and JR and them. It might be Mike and Toby D. We starting to switch it around because we all know the same thing. We on the same level. So y'all might get either one of us. We on the same level when it comes to the game. So after the game Sunday, catch that live Tuesday. We're gonna cover the game from Sunday. But anyways, this is Prime ATL. I'm Jim Bodine, aka Jimbo Slay, aka Jimmy Obama. Call me anyone you want. Just don't call me no motherfucking Saints fan. That's Big Mike, and we'll see y'all next week, man. Adios.
Peace.